Hey guys, I hope you're all doing very well. Welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be talking about Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I don't really need an introduction to even talk about superhero films. It seems to me with superhero movies, especially this year, they just break new grounds to me. Just every single time a new superhero movie from Marvel or DC comes out, they just break the ground for how awfully generic and formulaic they are. Now, I have no expectations that this movie is ever going to hit or really going to resonate the audience. And it probably shouldn't do because I'll tell you, watching this movie, it is miserable. And I really, really feel like this is probably probably the worst DC Extended Universe movie I've seen. Now, I really will only highlight only one thing about this film. This movie only marks the end of the current DC universe as we know it until James Gunn's gonna really put the work down and really fix the DC universe as it should do. But man, if this was the last film of this so-called universe, then it was an absolute stinker to really end it off. This movie really had nothing really going for it. You know, you really have a movie that has really got production hell. You got Jason Momoa and Amber Heard, who really admittedly know that they don't have any on-screen chemistry with each other, and also Amber Heard being probably one of cinema's poison in the movie industry right now. Well, she doesn't really have an acting career as of now after the trial, but really, this movie hadn't really got anything going for it. But even still, could this movie really live anything up to give some sort of expectation? Absolutely not. I really don't understand why they even bother to release this film. It's even more pointless to even release it during Christmas because I could guarantee no one's going to watch it during how busy priorities people have got. And I can see why they even launched it at this time of the year because this movie is trash. It's probably one of the most formulaic, garbage superhero films I have seen. Now, I'm just going to really hit one positive, and that's probably just Jason Momoa's charisma. He's the only thing that really just brings this movie up and really uplifts the film. But even still, like, he doesn't really have anyone else to really bring this movie up at all. It's just either him or that's it. You know, you wouldn't look at the other actors in this film to really somehow enlighten this movie in any way. And that's really the biggest problem. There's no real story. The only thing they really pander about this movie is global warming and greenhouse gases and stuff, which is even equally more insulting to people watching this movie. Because why on earth, as a moviegoer, should we be, pandered with, agendas, in the face of this movie already having a trash storyline as it is and superhero movies being formulaic, but yet the good thing that we should really be looking at from a story is just pandering global warming to our face. It just speaks nonsense, really, and it just highlights that this movie hasn't really got a real story to begin with. But besides all that, there's not really much I could even say positively about this film. The acting is very asinine with any sort of charisma. It doesn't really feel like when you listen to the dialogue of this movie that there is any sort of build up of the story or anything that really makes anything, impactful. Everything is just a massive flat line of just misery. The more you watch it, the more tiresome it becomes. And honestly, you really do feel it. But even still, I even question the direction of superhero movies. It seems like Marvel and DC's objective now is just for the crown for making the most awfully generic, formulaic shit I have ever seen. And not long ago, like a month ago, we saw the Marvels and just the misery that people endured with that movie. God forbid, if there was anything good about that movie, I don't even know where to even start. But this movie just reaches another level of misery. I don't know if it's really worse, but man, it wouldn't surprise me if people really took this as the new crown or something like that, because I just really struggled to really find anything reminiscent that this movie really brings to me as a fan. But one thing I will say about this movie, they really, the only real aspect of comedy I could really say, I mean, I'm going to hint a spoiler, but to be honest, it's not really a spoiler because the film's garbage, but I'm going to spoil it, don't worry. There was a scene where you have one of the villain protagonists, in a way. His name is David Kane. He's basically the Black Manta, so he's just really the guy with the lasers and everything like that. I can't remember so much of where he was before, but it doesn't matter. But basically, he fights Mira. Amber Heard does have a role in this film, and basically he just uses his powerful lasers and just completely, kind of obliterates her. I'm not going to tell you whether she dies or not, but that's up for you to watch. But all of a sudden, basically after that, you have Aquaman or Jason Momoa come out of nowhere and literally just saying, "Stay away from my wife." It's like somehow he's got to protect her. Like the man who wants to protect someone who literally just made Johnny Depp's life a misery. So that was really the only piece of comedy, and I don't know whether that was scripted after the trial or even post production or before the whole trial came out, but it's pretty poetic. But I just want to kind of hint that out because that was like the only piece of comedy in this film, and it wasn't even intentional in the movie's objective to even do that. But I want to also say this as well. It just shows the way certainly superhero movies have become. It can't really continue with this sort of direction. It's very robotic storyline, and it's very really unenthusiastic acting and just storytelling. It just doesn't really work. There isn't really, everything does have a mass produced feel to these films, and it doesn't really make you care about any other character at all in this movie. There's really no one you could really look into this movie and thinking, oh yeah, I love this character. Like even they use was it Aquaman's half brother? His name is Orms Marius, and he's played by Patrick Wilson. And even him, he's pretty much a side cast. He doesn't really feel like he even has a role in this film at all. So they just completely just waste people's time with these characters as well. But anyways, the story itself is just bad. I mean, the acting isn't very good. Maybe Jason Momoa's acting is alright, but again, it doesn't really bring anything up at all. I'm not going to kind of ramble on in about this film. It does feel like I'm ranting. And to be fair, you might be ranting after watching this movie. But overall, if I have to rate Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, I'm going to have to give this a 2 out of 10. It's just miserable. I don't really have anything positive or good things to say about this movie. In fact, I really will hint this out. People were leaving the theatre with this film. I'm not even joking when I say that, but it just shows that people's attention to this movie is, or even new movies or superhero movies in general, is just losing interest at a rapid rate. And the fact that people have paid their money to even watch this film and they're just standing on their 2 feet leaving just shows that there is real problems. So I really want to hint that out. I think this year superhero movies have become, below the standard what people really wanted. I really think it just shows that quantity doesn't beat quality. And I really honestly hope that whatever James Gunn's got planned for, reviving the DC universe from a shitty state that it is, hopefully maybe things will change. Because let's be honest, DC can make good films when they really need to. Like, you had Joker, you had the Batman with Robert Pattinson. They can make it work, okay? And that's what fans want. Now, I don't really think fans really want mass-produced, unenthusiastic acting, ascertained dialogue that doesn't develop the story. No one wants that. We want, serious acting and good storytelling. And right now with superhero movies, we're not getting that. So hopefully maybe the revived universe that James Gunn will do will fix that. But anyways, that's it for my review of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I just also want to say at the very end, I hope you guys have a very good Christmas and a happy new year, whether I make a new video or not. And please like, comment, subscribe, dislike if you want to dislike. And yeah, that's about it. See you later.